And welcome everybody. I just wanted to welcome Washington as well and your ancestors, all the knowledge. So since I've known Washington really a lot of about the system work that I was doing already, it's gone to another level and another level of consciousness. So this is why I wanted to have a conversation with Washington that, through his wisdom and the wisdom of his ancestors' tribe about system work and family system work, why it was important actually to share this information with you before going into the webinar over the weekend. So yeah, I just wanted to talk really, Washington, about, as we were having conversations the last weeks, about how we can be blocked in a system, and then what it's important to recognize where are the blocks? Why am I not expanding in my career, in my life, in my health, in my relationship? And then pinpointing exactly where those points are. That's what I wanted to bring up in this conversation.
Yeah, that's very important. And sometimes when you want to expand, even let me talk about you have a land and you're thinking of expanding this land, you must have at least what we call an idea. What size do you want to expand that land? Or how big do you want it? So before you decide on the size, you decide how far you want that thing to expand to, at least you have to know, are you ready for it? Because in most of the families, you will find there is this spirit of fear. If I go to this extent, will I be safe? Or if I go to this extent, is anyone in our families has ever been to this stage or to this point? So there's this fear. I'm the first one to go there, and how people will take this, uh, how to say it, like,
Accept it. And that is such an important point to bring up, is the fear of expansion. And then how will my life look like? What will my life look like? Or how will the village or the people around me support me or my own family? Or will I lose them? And that can be a common path that can happen when you do go to the next level of success, finances, or get a bigger house, or move to another area, or go to a different college. There is a point where you need to accept that not everybody's going to wish you success, because you're going to bring up the envy, the jealousy, the bitterness, the resentment, the betrayal in the system. And this can be projected onto you from family members, from best friends for years, from people very close to you that you would never dream that they would wish you not to be successful or not to go to the next level. And this is really important to pinpoint, where is it coming from? And as we were talking about during the week, it can come from our own ancestors, our own parents, our own siblings, that they naturally have this thing that I don't wish you well. And so this is really important to recognize and to accept, okay, it is in my family system, it is in my system, it is in my life system. Or maybe it's a part of me fearing to go to the next level. And then what am I going to lose? How is that going to look like? But what you were saying was very important, Washington, as well, about if I want to create a new business, have I got the power? Like, how big do I want to expand is very important. Like, what's the fencing? When I get a piece of land, then I have to fence the land and say, okay, that's how much land I'm going to cultivate at this moment in time. So the cultivation is very important. The border of the cultivation, and then what is my vision here? What do I want to grow on that land? What do I want to produce? And then I want to put a fence up that people can't go in and steal or take from me when I plant those fruits.
Yeah. And there's also, like let me talk about myself. There's a time we normally have this belief, a limiting belief in the families. So you limit yourself, you limit your belief. So if you want to do any expanding, or you have an idea to expand your growth, business, anything. So you feel like, I am not enough. I am not capable. You are limiting yourself. You're limiting the belief. And you'll start now thinking about your family. My grandmother didn't even go to this point. My grandfather. So there's this limiting spirit or limiting energy in the system. So it keeps telling you, no, you're not enough. You cannot make it. You will fail because even in the family, no one has succeeded. So you can't be the first one. So you're always limiting yourself and you feel like, I cannot do anything.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
just
yeah.
feel like, no.
And this is very strong, and we have to really be compassionate with the ancestors as well. For example, maybe they didn't have a house, like what you have. Maybe they didn't, their daily worry every day was to put food on the table. And now suddenly you just order online, for example, or go to the grocery store and your worries are something else. So, of course, if you say about opening a new business or moving to a different country or a different location, of course, the fear of, well, you won't be able to put food on the table for the kids. So don't do that, you know?
Mhm.
And, I remember even growing up, when I was just, around school and that, the family, what was around the system was like, oh, you should get a job in the civil servant because that'll be good for your retirement. I was like, oh my God, I haven't even started my life when you're talking about retirement. So, but the system was so structured on fear of not being able to, have a steady paycheck. The conditioning was get the civil servant job because it's safer. And that was very strong in Ireland at the time when I was in school. So for me, it was very important to recognize and accept that's their belief system, but that certainly is not my life and never will be my life. So it's like I need to recognize what was in my system, what was being programmed to me, installed into me through fear, family members, schooling, education, friends, community, and then decide what do I want to keep and what do I not want to keep. But very important for me was really to say, okay, I know what's in my system. And I know that's not going to be my life, but I'm very aware it's in my family system.
Mhm. Yeah. So expanding the territories, or if you're opening a door, so someone will have to be very keen, very careful. And I'll give an example. If you want to build like a house, you have to bring the materials, cement, you have to bring sand, or all the materials that are needed to build a house. But for that house to build, if you bring 10 bags of cement, then you realize five of them or three that have been stolen. So you bring two trailers of or two tractors of sand, half of it stolen. So you are trying to build, you are trying to buy materials to build a house, but there's now this spirit or these people who are stealing the material. So it means you not even build that house on time. So you keep on working for the materials. So this is what I mean. Like in life, there's this energies that they drain you, like they drain you literally. So if you wake up in the morning and say, now today I'm focusing, today I have to do this, I have to do this. Then from nowhere, that energy you are set to do something constructive, the drainer comes, drain part of your energy. Then again tomorrow, because now the energy has been reduced, you're now like half. So tomorrow again, you have to wake up, recharge, then say, okay, now today I'm fresh. I feel I can now do this. Again, this energy comes, drain. So it keeps on draining you, keeps on draining you, and it will make you stuck. So you can have a plan and say, this year I have to do this. And if you check around, you are set. But you'll realize it's almost 1.5 years, you have not done anything and you'll not even realize what's happening. So there's this draining energy. If you feel you have to do it, it drains you. It drains you. So
Yeah, this is really, really strong. It's interesting how the lights are flashing here when I do that. Yeah, I'm just gonna set this light. So
So the draining energy, and that's how it works.
yeah, and that's
Mm.
exactly like the light there. So time for me, it can be draining in emotional time, drama, worrying about the wrong things, allowing yourself to, and I'm talking about yourself, it can be, it's in you a lot of the time where you worry about things which are not important. You need to really set your goal and know your territory and know what you want and what's your value of every day and what's the highest purpose of every day. I remember the first business I set up that it was starting from scratch. And I was really strict on myself. I would wake myself up at a certain time. I would be, yeah, at the office, so to speak, on time, and I would have my goals for that day because there was a lot of heaviness in my system saying you're going to fail, you're no good, you can't do, you're not going to be successful, So I was very aware that there was a very strong, heavy cloud in my system that didn't want me to be successful, didn't want me to create, didn't want me to make new contacts, didn't want me to make new finances, didn't want me to be self-sufficient or independent. And that was such a strong weight. I use that weight to use as to go forward. So every day I acknowledged it was there and I'm going to do it different and I'm going to be creative and I'm going to do things I never did before and it's going to be scary and I'm going to use a lot of my energy to do that, but I'm doing it because I want to create this business. So I show up, I commit, I show up. And when I get a knock, I get stronger. So I used the energy of the resistance to do the polar opposite, but I was aware of the resistance and aware that the system wanted me to stay in bed and, say it's not the right time, I don't feel good today, or maybe the day is not today, maybe I can do it tomorrow. I was very strict as no, I do today, and I'm not stopping till it's done. So this is where, what Washington was saying about the cement and the sand. It's like, this is how much cement I have. This is how much time I have. This is how much energy I have for this project. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to commit and I'm going to do it, even get my hands dirty. So a lot of people, like nowadays as well, it's because the system can be so fast, and you can get things easily. A lot of people, when you feel something heavy or emotional, you can think that, oh, it's not flowing. And this is a big thing when I work with entrepreneurs or someone who's about to elevate to the next level. They feel like, oh, there's a heavy energy, or I got blocked getting on that flight. And they use it as a way to say, oh, my life, it's not flowing, so I'm not going to take that step. It's not the right way. So for me, I check it really deeper in my system and see it and say, okay, no, the flight was blocked because it is the flight I'm meant to be on, and I'm going to break through and I'm going to get onto that flight. Just because it was difficult to get to the airport doesn't mean it's not the right flight. It just means that I'm in the middle of an evolution in my system, which is taking me out of all these patterns of don't do it. It's scary. You may die. You may be starving. You may lose your money. You may lose your home. You may lose your friends. You may not be the people pleaser anymore. You may not be successful. You could fail, just like some of the ancestors. So for me, it's very important to identify what is a pattern, which is something which is keeping me back, or what is the patterns I'm leaving behind. This is really important that you give some space and time to acknowledge what is not supporting your success and your expansion, and you're aware of it. And then you do what is correct for you. What is the highest purpose for you in each day, each moment, each decision?
Mm. And also, you'll find now I'll talk about the ancestral thing. So in the family, you might find generally this is a business family. So if you talk of the best business people, it's this family, like a certain family. And even from the past, your ancestors, let me say, your great great grandfathers, mothers, that all line, they were like business people. And if you want to introduce something new, maybe for me, I'll decide I want to be a business person, but I want to create something new. Now you're bringing something new in the system and you want to expand it. So sometimes you might find your ancestors, they also resist because they know in our families we are businessmen. But now you're bringing something different, of which it's not something bad, but it's a different thing. So they might resist maybe how will it work because we know ourselves as business people. But whatever you're bringing in, we're not sure of it. So they'll keep on resisting it and you'll never know. So that's why you have at least to go back in your family. If you want to expand, let me say you want to expand your business, you try to check like in our families, is there anyone who was a businessman or a business lady? Does it work in our system? So if it doesn't, maybe something different. Is the high time now to talk to your good ancestors and tell them, I know this family, you never experienced business, but please, if there is any resistance from you, this is something that will benefit uh, my life, even those probably around me, like even my family. So they can release you. You understand? Because I'm bringing something new in the system. So maybe they are resisting, like, business or this is not for us. But you have to tell them, please, because of this and this and this, release and leave me to do it.
It's interesting when you say that. I keep it where we're here in Greece and living on the islands in Greece over the years. And in the towns, when you go to the towns, for example, on the islands, a house is painted blue or painted red, and the paint color was related because this is a fishing family, or this is a butcher, or this is a farmer. So the houses were identified by the colors, which represented the trade. When I was in Japan, it was the same thing. There was like, okay, oh, this is the family who's the sushi family, or the butcher family, or the businessman. So they're known for a specific trade. And if you are the butcher and now you're going to be a businessman in the system, the butcher system will, our ancestors will say, whoa, 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 what are you doing here? Hang on, you're stepping out of line here, and you're stepping out of our all the work we did to get to be this famous butcher on the island or whatever. And now you're moving. So it's like, oh, your betrayal. And this comes up a lot, for example, if I work with actors, actresses, artists, designers, for example, it's it's difficult for them because if you go back in the ancestral line, go back 100 years, 200 years, when you talk about ancestors, I'm talking about 5, 6, 700 years ago, and you say you want to be an artist, is that going to feed the family? Is that going to bring money into the system? In this day and reality, yes, and can bring in a lot of money in, but in their systems, it's an absolute no-go. So that's why, for example, artists would find it very difficult to break free of the conditioning that you'll have no money if you're an artist, or you'll have no money if you're a healer, because that should be only for God. It comes from God, it should be free. So there's a lot of conditioning to get through in certain trades, and especially if you're coming out of a traditional family system who's famous for being a tailor family or a jewelry family or a banking family, and you're switching to a new trade. For that child or that person, it's going to be heavy. There's going to be a lot of resistance, and also even a lot of them kicking your success out of the way because they're like, okay, let them just give them a little bit of rope to feel like they've taken that journey, and keep knocking their success away so they come back to us. They'll fail, so they'll come back to us. Let them think they're doing it, but make sure they fail, and then they'll come back. So a lot of us have got doors in the way when we start a new project, and it can be in our bloodline or from our parents or from our siblings. So there's all these things are very important traits and systems to bring up to the conscious level, so you're aware that it's in my system and I know what I'm dealing with and what I have to handle in every day. And I know where I'm not going to give my energy away to, like what you said about the sand being stolen. So I'm not allowing anybody to steal my sand. If I've got 2 bags of sand, I'm going to create something with it. I'm not going to waste it. So this is where the level of consciousness is important, and that's what I want to do over the weekend in the webinar.
That's how to, those are some of the things when you want to open some doors, growth, expanding. So these are just some of them. There are so many, but there's some of them. And one thing, Damien, uh, in life, sometimes we are all human beings. So we must have, or we should have this spirit of discernment.
Absolutely, yeah.
So to know what's for me and what is not for me. Because if I wake up in the morning and I decide today or from next month or from next week, I'll use a business. I want to be a businessman. And maybe it doesn't work for me. So I have to know being a businessman or being a farmer, which one is for me. So I'm just using an example. So if you have this spirit of discernment to know which works for you and which will not work for you, it's very important because you can be trying to expand a territory, you can be trying to open doors that will not work for you. So you'll take 5 years and you've just gone like 1 kilometer because you're straining, this is not for you. But if you can discern this, can it work for me or not, then
And also, for example, to open realistic doors, a lot of people I work with, for example, they can say, okay, this is what I want, and I'm not there yet. And I'd say, well, you didn't really put the work in, you didn't. What did you do to get this? Oh no, I'm doing the intention work, I'm doing this, but it hasn't really worked. Okay, but maybe you need to give up something to get through that door. So what did you give up in your life? What did you change in your life? Oh, no, 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 I don't want to do that. I don't want to give up that, but I like that part. Okay, well, maybe that's the thing, the very thing you need, which is preventing you going to the next level. So often in my career over the years, when I decide what I want, I normally have to limit certain things in my life so I can achieve that. It didn't just come out of thin air. I need to limit and cut out certain things or certain aspects of my life so I can achieve that result and get to that point. So I was talking to a friend recently, and he was saying that, to get to the level he needed to get for medical school, I need to cut out, certain friends, relationship at that time for 6 months so I could study, because I needed to do that to get to that point. So that is an example where someone needed to stop going out, stop hanging out with the friends for 6 months because this is my priority, because I want the goal. And to get that goal, I need to study for 6 months and I need to dedicate my life. So a lot of people don't want to do that. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. So then the realistic question is, are you ready to go to the next level? Or are you just fooling yourself? And if you're fooling yourself, it's very important to know you're fooling yourself. Is it realistic? And are you willing to commit? Are you willing to make those changes? Are you willing to change things in your life? Are you willing to get up in the morning and to do things which are scary and things which are messy, uncomfortable, and you've never done before, and it scares you, and you're going to keep doing it? So, how much energy and how much commitment are you willing to put on the table today, tomorrow, the next day, this year to achieve the target you want to achieve?
mhm. And also, yeah, in life, Damien, you have to be very careful. Like we as people, human beings, have to be very careful because if you say, or if I say I want to expand my territory, I want to open a door for growth or something, I must be very careful because if I get myself in a unsupportive environment, then nothing will work. So I have to be very careful. Is this environment conducive for this? Does it support me? If it doesn't support me, I have to move to another environment that can support me. And this is what I mean. I'll use another example of still like building a house. If you want to build a house, you'll find someone will start do like a fence, like a structure. So all the materials will be coming in. So if you just pass around or cross that place, you'll never know what's happening inside because there is like a fence and you can't see inside. So there's materials and there's a construction going on. I mean, sorry. So is it, yeah,
Exactly that,
the
yeah.
construction is going on
Hmm.
and you can't really know, is it a house? Is it, how does it look like? You have no idea. So you just see that house when it's maybe one or two floors, you can just see it from outside. So it's until when they'll finish the house, it's when they'll remove the fence and like, wow, so it was like this. So that's what I'm saying. You have to protect yourself in an environment that will support you. But if you expose yourself, then you'll get discouragements. You'll not even make it. Even so and so tried this and he didn't even finish or he did not even succeed. So it's better you leave this. So you get discouragement. These are from the people that they have no vision or maybe jealousy. They know you are capable, but out of jealousy, they'll tell you, no, 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 this will not work for you. No, no, no. So now you find yourself in such an environment that cannot support you.
And it's usually when you open yourself up emotionally to somebody that they can see into your system and then they can use that against you. So that's where it's also important to know, as Washington said, if you have a project, be careful who you share it to, or if you do share it, know that the feedback may not be for the highest good. Or maybe it's just you needed to hear something negative to say, no, I'm going to do it. Like a lot of the projects I would do, I'd be told by people very close to me, no, it's not going to work. You can't do it. It's not the right time. It's not the right thing. Don't do it. And I can feel in my system, thank you for that confirmation. That's exactly what I need to hear. I'm doing it and I move forward and I don't need a confirmation from the outside. So you need to really, you can build a fence if you need to build a fence. And it's interesting. A friend in Kenya came up when you were talking there, Washington, where he said to me, he says, if you got a farm in his area, it's like the elephants can eat your whole farm in one day, in one day. But you're saying like the elephant remembers the day a year later when to come back, and he'll come back and he will eat your crops same day, same time next year. So be ready for the elephants, they're coming. So, but remember, so know your territory, know what's around you, know who's for you and know who's against you. And those people will be triggered and may not want your success. And it could be for multiple reasons. Usually when someone's elevating or being successful in their life, moving to the next level, there's a lot of not well wishers who are going to be wishing not well to you. If you get a new house, a new car, a new job, they're envious, they're jealous. Oh, you've left me behind. Oh, you think you're better than me. So be aware of what's in you, what's around you, and what's in your family system. And don't be naive to think that everybody's a well-wisher. And don't be so naive to think that everybody wants the best for you, or will not try and destroy you. It's also very important to know that there is people who want to demolish your success and demolish your life. So I get it all the time in the system. So it's like there's people who do want to demolish your success and they don't want you healthy, they don't want you successful. It's important to know that and then also to make changes in the system and live your truth, live your life, and move forward. And this for me is very important to know and to accept in the system.
That's so after accepting, then you
Hmm.
move forward.
You move
So
forward,
yeah,
exactly.
move forward.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
accept, then you move forward. You make a step.
exactly.
And continue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I was saying, and sometimes you have also to decide, will you listen to when you want to expand your territories, when you want to open these doors, will you listen to yourself or you listen to people? because that's very careful. I mean, that's very important.
Exactly,
Yeah, because will
exactly.
you listen to, because if I wake up in the morning, I have my plan, I have planned for my day, so I have to do what I have planned. Then if there is something else, I have to finish my plan first, then I go to the other thing. So will you listen to yourself or will you listen to the other people? And there's normally this guilt in the system. So if I know I have friends who like clubbing every weekend, and I decide like from today, no, I'm putting a boundary because I have to take another route. So there's this, you'll be feeling guilt. How will my friends think about me? Or you feel, I did a wrong decision. I should have my friends around. So you are moving, but you feel guilt in your system. So will you listen to this guilt, then go back to your friends who are always in the club, clubbing, and clubbing is not bad. You can do it, but with moderation. So I'm talking about now doing it now in a way you cannot control it. So if you have this guilt, will you listen to this guilt, to this voice, or will you listen to yourself? If you listen to yourself, you will go forward and make your territories expand. But if you now want to listen to this guilt and go back to your friends, then you are mixing water and
Yeah, yeah, oil.
and
Exactly,
oil. Yeah. So
exactly.
and they'll never mix.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that is so important at certain points in your life where you may have to cut off certain aspects or certain lifestyle or certain people who are not there promoting, supporting you on your journey. And if you want to really, like if you have an addiction of alcohol or something like this, you need to create new systems and you may need to create new friends. Because if you hang out with the friends you were drinking with, and just say, I don't drink anymore, and you're sitting in front of them and they're drinking and they're encouraging you all the time, there may be a moment that you're weak and you will take that alcohol. So this goes for everything in life. So you need to be able to discern what is the right people, where is the right situations, and what type of boundaries I'm going to put up in my system related to my next success or where I want to bring my life to, and what is supporting me and what is not supporting me for the higher purpose and creation. Because there can be in those specific use at the nightclub or whatever, Washington, you were talking about, maybe there is addiction in those system of those friends, which was in me or in my family system, and I needed to break away from that. So they're not going to be the ones who are going to be maybe supporting me, say, oh, go for it, go for it, go for it. Maya, you're working too much, you're not hanging out with us anymore, you've changed, I don't like the change, you're a different person, you
Mhm.
think you're better than us, why aren't you with us anymore? You turned your back on us. So do you see the way they're using the guilt to get me back to the
Mhm.
old me? And this is something you need to be aware of. And there may be a purification in that experience as well, where, okay, I'm changing my course. I'm changing maybe my friends. I'm changing my habits. I'm changing my social habits. And then there's a purification. But if you purify yourself and then you go back into the same thing again, you're going to pollute exactly what you just cleaned and wonder why you're stuck or stagnant. So follow through and set your boundaries and know what's around you, know what's supporting you, know what is feeding you, know what is inspiring you, and know exactly what is trying to demolish your success and the house that you just built and the foundations. And it can be from the bloodline. Be aware, it can be from the best friend. It can be from the environment you're in. Know thyself, but also know where you are in the system and know where to set up your foundation, your house. There's no point in setting a foundation up on a land that is going to be flooded, for example, or has a weak foundation. You need to know where you're planting your seeds and planting your foundation. And this is really, really important. It's key, for example, with every business you do. Good,
Mm.
good.
It's
Feels
nice.
good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So this is what I'll be working with in the webinar over the weekend is really, opening the doors for your success and identifying where the blockages are so you can open them more and then plant the seeds and set the boundaries and move forward in your life.
And
So
also expanding.
exactly,
Opening
exactly.
and expanding.
And enjoying as well, to really
Yeah.
enjoy your expansion and be fulfilled from that, and don't feel guilty about it, and don't feel like you're leaving people behind. There's nothing more important than inspiring people by your living example. You could say it can be said to you that, oh, you turned your back on us, who do you think you are? But actually, in a year time, when you have your project running, there's people back there thinking, wow, you did it, maybe I can do it. So you can be the inspiration for the family system. You can be the inspiration for all your clubbing friends. You can inspire maybe one of them, maybe not all of them, maybe none of them want to make that change, but know yourself and do what is there on the essence level and what your heart and what your spirit is here to do. So this is what I'll be doing in the webinar of the weekend. I invite you to be part of it and to do the homework of knowing before you go into the webinar what may be blocking your system, what is in your system. It's just spirit of laziness, deadness, stagnation, resentment, guilt, shame. Am I a people pleaser? Am I looking for approval from the outside? And, did I clear it yet? Did I do it yet? Am I good enough yet? Am I ready yet? Is there too much of perfectionist in my system? Is there procrastination in my system? All these things are important to identify before you open up your territory and go to the next level. Thank you, Washington. Thank you, your ancestors, my ancestors too. And thank you to everyone. And yeah, let's see what comes up over the weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.